following its circumference, perimeter, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and then hitting the lake, the sovereign lake that reaches into Zem River. Zem Lake. May the person designated, aka you, Kirsty, roll me a D100. Let's see what sort of shenanigans you get in. I added another thing in last night, which has a 1 to 5 roll. Shame that you guys did it. All right.
Are we dead? Are we a little bit dead?
I don't know.
Scale of 1 to 10, how dead?
Yeah, I need to know.
I don't know.
7.
I will say, and something's definitely dead. You can tell it as you guys are traveling. You guys can smell it. The smell of decaying bodies is a semi-familiar one, depending on which one of you I'm asking this question to. How familiar are you with decaying corpses? So, yeah. I offer you guys, as always, the horror movie question. Do you guys want to check it out, or be like, yeah, let's not go that way. Let's just keep going. It's a very strong sense of decayed flesh.
This is us at the river going up, and we
south.
Process. South. That's what I meant.
Correct.
It could provide information on what we're going after, potentially, or it could just be another dead thing in the swamp.
Directionally, where is it coming from? Away from the river or toward the river?
Technically both. South, look at where you guys are in the token. Southwest. So south is still the direction of the river. West is not necessarily.
So an idea would be to hug the river and keep a nose out, so to speak, as we get closer.
So you guys are probably like right here when you guys getting the whiffs of the scent.
Yeah.
So you guys keep following the river then?
Mm-hmm.
Very well. You guys keep following the river, and in about it was just a 5-minute break, and he didn't use the fucking restroom. All right, him aside. So you guys continue following the river south. It doesn't take much time before you guys get stronger and stronger and stronger sense of dead person, or dead flesh, at least, not necessarily person. That being said, you can confirm it's a person when you guys begin making out where the source is as you guys are following the river. It's not on the river, it's not in the river or anything like that. It is a bit away, it's probably, but not too far, probably like only a couple 100 feet from the river itself. And obviously the river doesn't, I shouldn't say obviously, I shouldn't say that, but the river itself doesn't have like trees going up to its river banks. It has a bit of a tree line, mostly eroded soil and things like that, loose rocks, clay deposits, etc., etc. So of that couple 100 feet to see this person, this dead person, this corpse, a good like 28, 30 of it is free space, and with that, it's on that area that you guys are traveling upon. So yeah, you guys see a person who is have any of you seen Deadly Premonition, the game Deadly Premonition, rather, the beginning bit of it? The silence tells me no.
Yeah, no.
Shame. Don't play. It's a trash game. It's a weird premise. If you watch Twin Peaks, it's sort of like that. It's a lot like that, actually. It's still a shit game, though. Anyways, you see a person who is, I want to say, crucified on a tree, because that implies a very specific shape, but it is like strung up on a tree. And I say strung up, I mean that in a semi-literal sense. So he is pinned via hands and feet, like via, I don't know, pittons, I guess, spikes, whatever implements, sharp implements you want to call it, stakes, onto this large tree. And he is, the term is technically disemboweled, which is to say, as me and O were discussing earlier, disemboweling someone isn't actually that lethal. That being said, though, it does send a hell of a message.
And it seems like a brutal way to
go about doing things.
So yeah. Here I have a description of how it looks right here. So he has he is impaled upon a spike of wood, not like a tree, but like just wood. He himself, his arms and stuff like that, are also spiked into this bigger spike. So imagine like big spike, taller than a person, smaller stakes, tying this person to that big piece of wood, and he has been disemboweled, and his intestines and guts have been sort of strung around, wrapping around him, as well as the big spike that he is attached to. That is what you guys get at a 150-foot distance view, and the smell of death decay, sound of flies, I don't know, maybe a bird pecking at his eyes or something, I don't know. Carrion birds, stuff like that. Yeah, you guys get that. You guys, I'm assuming, we'll say, since you're the one that rolled, Kirsty, we'll say Dolly, you're a ranger. You spot that between the tree branches that you see someone impaled on a piece of wood in more than one way. And then you guys go a bit closer to investigate, not like, it's 150-foot space to get there. Let's say you guys go closer, like 20 feet or something. Get a better view on it, and we're like, fuck. That guy is dead. At least you hope so, if he's still alive after that. That's a hell of a way to...
Nah, he's still spry and kicking.
You guys are still about 100 plus feet away. You guys want to go closer? Again, horror movie question. Go closer or ditch it?
I mean...
Is his identity loosely identifiable? Can we see if he is provincial, Nevros?
Nevros, from the looks of it. He still has his attire and garb and things of that nature. Honestly, he looks pretty pristine, if not for the blood dripping from his hands and feet and the disembowelment. I don't know, he looks pretty pristine. In a weird, macabre, I don't know, morbidly curious sense.
Am I able to see how old or how long he's been dead for?
Not at this distance.
No,
You guys are still like 100 feet away.
Like
okay.
the
He's
bird.
pretty dead. But I mean, he's pretty whiffy though, isn't he? So I'd assume for a while. Okay.
What you guys want to do?
I mean,
You guys can ditch it. Just walk past it, away from this weird smell and disturbing sight, or go closer.
I mean, does that look like a trap to you guys?
It
I mean,
is.
it's got a
I
little
will
bit
say it. The area around it is clear of like brush. So
Okay,
no
this
trees.
was set up. This seems to be set up to
His
like
arms
be a
are
display.
His arms are orchestrated in a very purposeful way. You can tell that from your distance.
He is Jesus.
No, Jesus was crucified. No, I mean, like in the sense of his arms. Imagine like a compass.
Mm.
His arms are propped in such a sense to give that sort of status.
like he's giving a specific direction.
Something like that.
What
You guys
direction
can't
is it
100%. You can tell his arm. One of his arms is something up with it. You can't tell at this distance, but the other arm is pointed in the direction of the lake. Like it's like doff yonder that way. So you go down that way. When you go to this rock, you've gone too far. Yeah, that's our style.
You said his intestines are strewn out. Is it like it was just cut open and they just fell out, or like they were pulled out of it?
I mean, consider how they're wrapped around the piece of wood he's impaled on. They've definitely been pulled out. My intestines personally don't, go around like long.
Sorry, I asked a
objects.
question.
Yeah, I've been paying attention.
I was in the bathroom.
And you should have gone in the bathroom during the 5-minute break. My point stand. Anyways, nonetheless, go closer or farther away.
I mean, do you think it's related to what we're looking for?
I mean, I don't want to mess with it personally.
I
There's
know.
actually
I mean, if
potential
it's not,
that it could be. It could be related to that third fell god that we came across information about.
I'll defer to the three of you on this.
Yeah, I'll make it simple. Type 1 in Roll20 chat if you want to leave.
Oh,
Type 2 if you want to go investigate.
I'm liable just to. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong bloody keyboard.
Abstain.
And I don't think O's there currently, considering how he has the away status on Discord. So you guys decide to accept that the better part of Valor is discretion and not go closer to the very... it's a trap, a message, you're not 100% certain. Probably more the former. And leave. Continue your way down the river.
If it's not one of ours, it's someone else's problem.
Pretty much.
That's a
I'd
nice
rather
selfish
just
attitude.
let things like that lie.
Call it survival instinct.
Yeah, it's self-preservation. So
That's the word.
That instinct is strong for me right now.
Good. So, I mean, I'm sure the others can attest. Body horror and mutilation is probably my specialty as a GM. Moving on, though. Don't worry, we'll get there, especially today. We'll get there. So, moving on, though, you guys continue going south. What are you guys' passive perceptions? And may you, Kirsty, make me another D100 roll.
Yep.
15, 12. Not going so well. 16.
Hey, Fred, is that with the small bonus you get?
Oh, no, right. That's without. So 16.
16.
Thanks for reminding me.
Let's see.
Oh, wait, passive perception.
Passive
Not actual. Yeah, okay.
You
It
said
would be nice if it was 23 though. I know, it's such a good
92.
roll as well.
Yeah, 17. That's a good roll. 16. We can keep the 23, though. So, as you guys are traveling... Actually, let me see here. Let me check something. Let me open up the Homebrew Ranger shit. Again, another project of semi-masochistic tendency for trying to busy yourself with work. So let's see. Natural Explorer, while you're traveling within this terrain, yeah, it's definitely been more than an hour. You have a lot of stuff. You know what direction is north, blah, blah. You have an automatically lower DC for detecting traps equal to your ranger level divided by 3 rounded up. Okay, so it fits then. You guys are walking along the banks of the river in the woods, or close to the woods rather. Deciding that maybe walking down the river itself on the edges is a bit. Listen, you guys aren't a sneaky bunch anyways. Now some of you wearing plate armor. Albeit there's one less of you wearing plate armor right now. But that being said, it's still loud as fuck. So cover is probably better than not cover. You guys can still see the river quite clearly, quite obviously, but you guys are following in the tree line. As you guys are walking in the tree line, Dolly, as the resident ranger and with a 23 in perception with a lower DC automatically on my end, you note that you guys have begun approaching a trap field. Not in the sense that they're all lined up like exactly 5 feet away from one another and things of like that nature. Obviously, the best traps are the ones that use their environment to keep them concealed. That's the term trap. But you see some things stand out. Not literally, but mentally stand out. You see that on the riverbanks that there is probably some sort of pitfall trap. Not in the sense like you're fall like 20 feet onto spikes, but moreover like underneath a very thin layer, there's probably like a foot of space and there's something in that space. You see that not directly in your guys' path, thank the gods. Are other traps meant to... You ever hold like a branch, like bend it back and then just let it go, like Beyblade style? Yeah. Let it rip? Mm-hmm. Yeah, imagine that except someone tied spikes to it. You know, probably not something you want to take to the throat or chest, which is apparently the height I would aimed at.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys haven't entered this area of traps yet, but you, Dolly, have noticed it. That being said, you could probably, you yourself could, it's not like, again, there's plenty of space between them. You could probably navigate the group, like weave through all of them just fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we probably just go in single file kind of thing, and I just sort of be like...
No, not even that. Like, it's not, like, there's not, like, again, it's not 5 feet of distance between these traps. There's a good distance between them. And there's no consistency to it. Again, they're not traps meant of uniformity. They're traps meant of effectiveness. So you just pick the best spots that are effective. It's not like a minefield. So they're like, the closest trap to you is like 5 feet in front of you. or 5 feet off to the side there. The next trap will be 30 feet to the right of that trap, and the next trap after that is 50 feet past that. Like, there's no uniformity to this. It's just that they wanted the traps to hit people as opposed to be noticed in a uniform manner.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever made these traps, they're definitely aiming to maim, if not kill, by how potent they look.
Okay. Well, I'm obviously going to tell the group that we're about to enter a trap field. Am I able to try and make my way through it?
As I just said, yes.
Yeah, okay.
You guys can make your way through it just fine. As long as you know they're there.
Okay, awesome.
You guys begin navigating your way through the field. Now may all of you roll me perception. You guys know they're there. Traps don't care if you know or don't know they're there. They still work.
I give myself
Care about your feelings.
guidance.
Do I need to
Oh
reroll?
god, it doesn't mean anything.
Oh god.
Oh god, it means super nothing.
So well. So I feel like as this is going on, Ur would just look over to Dolly and be like, do you think it would be prudent to clear a path in case we need to make a quick egress?
Yeah, of course.
Then I will trust it to you.
Alright. Then I will do that. If I can.
Well, clearing a path, you mean clear a path as in clear a path through brush, or clear a path as in purposely activate traps, RP, Genevieve?
Are we able to...
I mean, at this with some of these rolls, you might not purposely set off some traps, but you might still clear a path.
Y'all do it for us.
May the three of you that did not roll well make me, well, I guess 4, including Genevieve, would make me dexterity saving throws.
Includes Magnus, yes?
I'm proficient in that, that's neat.
Genevieve fails.
It means nothing!
Sir fails.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's funny.
Caught it on the back end, though.
Yeah, so let's see here. Yeah, let's roll 2d100s to see.
Wow, okay.
Okay, cool. All right, so I have a list of traps. Okay, well, one of you got the 99 roll, so one of you is about yeah that's a really good gift there.
I'm in danger.
One of you.
I'll take it because I rolled complete shit on this entire section, so it would make sense that he
Well,
would hit.
no, that's not how this works though.
Oh.
I was just going in order of who rolled first. So that means Doss gets the short end of the stick.
Oh.
How much health do you have
That's
again?
a shame.
Oh, you got fine
He's
constitution.
fine.
He's already been
And you
knocked
have the
over by a
lively
12-year-old.
charm. You're
I mean,
fine.
Yeah.
As long as they don't botch the con.
Okay, so I'll go for the less worse one first. So
Oh, but that's no fun.
yeah. So it gives you like a magnitude of like how much worse can the actual worst one be, right?
The almost literally worst case scenario one, yes.
Yeah.
Unless it's 99
Oh,
and 100 is the last one.
Cat meowing.
Loud cat.
I mean, this one's pretty straightforward. It's a literal bear trap. So that's not too bad. You do take, however, there you go. Just 10 points of piercing damage as you step onto some like the roots of a tree, which in hindsight you realize probably have been sawed halfway or maybe a bit more so that they would snap and break as someone steps on it. As if they knew someone would be avoiding the other traps and thus would use the roots to their advantage. Again, smart trap makers. It's like Tarzan when he's fighting against a cheetah. The roots break, your foot snaps through, and then there's a bear trap. And then, ow, that hurts like a motherfucker.
And that's me, right?
No, that's not you.
Oh, okay.
No, the normal bear trap, that's fine. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Hey.
Okay, you can. Okay, you can have this amount then. So take 12 points of ripping down. I don't know what the fuck that would be, but bludgeoning, piercing.
What's a trap?
So you ever heard of quartering someone? You tie a leg of them to a horse and then send the horses off in different directions. No, there's not four magical fucking horses that just show up and rip you in half. That being said, though, that being said, though, you do fall into or step onto rather a trap, which then grabs your leg, which then whips you to another trap, which grabs your arm, and then the two branches holding these two braided ropes shoot off in different directions. It's a hell of a chiropractic treatment, as you are not ripped in half, although imagine if you're a weaker creature or a child or something, you probably would get snapped in half. But it does hurt like a motherfucker at just the sheer force yanking leg and arm, giving you a nice Edward Elric impression. No, you're not dismembered, but it does hurt, and you probably dislocate your leg and your shoulder. So, yeah, you take 12 points of ripping damage. I don't know what that would be. I guess I feel like it'd be slashing or something. But yeah, 12 points of damage. You're like great on that.
I am going to use Vitality Boost to heal both of us up, so we're not fucked.
I'm just thinking it's force at that point.
I feel like
yeah, maybe
just non-magical force.
It would be like pulling damage is what it would be.
I know, but there's no like equivalent. So I say force, non-magical force.
So, are we actually trapped, or?
He's trapped in the bear trap, which it's not that hard to disarm a bear trap if you don't mind the pain accompanying it. Which is to say, rip it open. You, on the other hand, are suspended about 7 feet above the ground with, your body contorted with ropes, which has to be cut delicately, because if you cut one rope, it just allows the other one to yeet you off into some other part of the wood. So you start to cut both at the same time, or pull on them and then cut them so that they don't whip you. So I assume someone helps you do that. Who wants to help Dusk with that?
I will help them.
Okay.
Thanks,
Genevieve
Magnus.
also helps. You both pull on the ropes, giving a bit of slack so as to not, again, yeet Dusk, and then just these like braided ropes, multi-braided ropes rather, rope braided with rope, and then
I feel like coming on this adventure was a mistake in my current state.
You'll be fine. She says, as Jace, you're healing yourself, and then from a distance healing Dusk. 30-foot range.
How much healing is that?
You're healed to max. You're good.
Think about it this way, Dusk.
So it's 22 points of healing.
Turning iron into steel, first it must be hammered, then it must be forged and tempered and quenched. We'll get to the quenching eventually.
Or you'll die.
Either or.
The quenching comes after getting hammered.
Yeah.
That's
Unless
Yeah,
your
just
steel
shakes her head.
has cracked.
You guys continue on your journey. Bad analogies aside. But you guys, the trap area goes on for a good bit. Like, well, here, I could probably show it. You guys eventually arrive at the next spot. Or moreover, you find another spot that is notable. So that's the area, the radius, and this is the next spot. So you guys are currently on there, currently here.
Still keep an eye out on the river for like whatever the fuck
No,
is
yeah,
ruining it. Yeah.
Again, I assume like you guys never leave with like visible view of the river. That being said, it's a pretty sizable river, so it's not like you lose sight of it like by walking 10 feet away from it. You guys come across a camp.
Like
I say camp in a... Let me finish. Let me continue. I say camp in a loose sense. There doesn't have any occupants or inhabitants, residents, whatever you want to call them, campers. Also, it looks like a hell of a mess. its tents are ruined. There are apparently packs and sacks here before, which have been ransacked. The fire itself, whatever was remaining of it, its coals have been scattered and kicked about. There's blood scattered around the place. It looks like there was a struggle here. And it was not a quiet struggle. Not like some really shoddy assassination work. No, it looks like a beatdown. Sans any bodies or unconscious people or stuff of that nature. So, you guys come across this camp. There are 4 tents. Yeah, 4 tents.
With a bonus action, I'm going to have my combat version of the shadow split from me and hover slightly beside me.
Noted. So I want to change the music to like sleuthing music now. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to look up noir investigation music. There it is. LA Noir investigation theme 30 minutes.
Oh, I love that soundtrack.
Oh my god, this is so... That's a great start to it. Yeah, that's great. That is great.
While I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna cast Aid on Jace, Magnus, and Genevieve.
Roger.
So plus 5 HP. Well, max HP.
It gets it increases actual HP as well. It just doesn't go the other way.
How much did you say, Garth?
5.
Okay.
I could overheal more, but I feel like that's better used in an actual fight.
So,
or
yeah, you guys. I'll move you guys to the other map. It's gonna be a really loose sketch of it. Like really loose, so don't at me. So that is wrong. That is not an obvious color. So say that's fire.
Not as loose as dusk.
Oh! Man, that has multiple meanings since he was just like pulled like asunder.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know your shoulders
my
are nice
joints
and
are
limber now.
loose.
I imagine someone relocated your shoulder and your leg for you.
Thanks, Jace.
Probably hurts like a motherfucker, but
It's just
you've been through worse.
Definitely been through worse.
Oh, what a silly map, lol. Fuck you.
Are you sure you've been through worse at this point? Because like this is like pretty bottom of the barrel experience for the last couple days for you.
It has been pretty
Yeah.
bad.
So yeah, you guys don't need to put yourselves on the map. You guys don't need to put yourselves on the map or anything, but I just want you guys just a semicircle, an arc circle rather of tents. Their sacks, their packs are laid outside them. Just sort of scattered across the ground, etc., etc.
Which direction are we approaching from?
Right. So
Okay, so like off this way.
yeah. So you guys see the tent open. Like the tents are like, I'd say they're open in more than one sense. The tent flaps are open and they're also ripped open. So whatever.
Does it seem like they're ripped open by claws or like weaponry?
You guys approach. I should ask that first.
That's a good question.
Investigation requires a closer look. Or you guys could repeat what happened last encounter and just walk away. Wipe your hands clean of this and walk away. So, my friends, what are your thoughts? Go or stay?
I think everyone's too busy looking at memes.
Yeah,
So you might as well investigate.
The shaky doesn't have imagery of that. All right, so who wants? So that's a vote. I think, yeah, vote for going towards it.
Does this have anything to do with like? This doesn't appear like to be what we need to do, right? Like, there's no bleeding river or water, is there?
I mean, the river's like right there. It's like 5 minutes, but none of the
crap,
blood
it might be
trails.
that.
But none of the blood trails lead to the river. Most of the blood is just scattered and spilled around the site itself.
The best case scenario here would be we potentially learn information about like animal or creatures and threats in the area.
So these are tents,
Yep.
and this is like a campfire.
It's scattered. Like it's like ashes and coals are scattered. Not that they're still hot, but yeah. They don't glow at a distance.
Oh, why did there have to be 4? Why did you make it 4?
Why is that a big deal?
If it was any other number, I would completely disregard it, but now it
Oh, because the spirits.
makes back to the spirit.
God dang it.
God damn it.
Oh, my
Any other
God,
number,
okay.
and I would have said, no, screw this is obviously a trap. Not messing with it.
No, it's
Now
oh,
I know it's obviously a trap, but obviously I'm going to investigate it.
We have to investigate it, dude.
Okay, yeah.
I know we're screwed going
Well,
into it, but I have to know
For
why.
God's sake.
Truly
yeah.
is the vanguard leader here as he approaches, and you guys follow suit.
As he approaches, he knows he's stupid
Of course.
for that stupidity.
Assume you're riding on Brongar. Secondly, Bleak is looking around.
Indeed.
I assume. Can you roll me perception of Bleak, and then Brongar, there's no role for riding something. Well, technically there is. There's vehicles land, I think about, but moving that aside. Yeah, make my perception roll with
background.
Oh, nice. There you have. I don't think I've ever seen vehicles land. I've never seen it used once.
Oh.
Like, never.
This is the
not
only situation where vehicle land might be used, and that's a stretch.
Bleak is dusking it up. I see.
Yeah, Bleak is flying around the place. Doesn't notice anything.
Jace would suggest to Magnus to potentially use the magic vision in this area to see if there's like arcane traps or anything.
Yep. I will detect magic and have a look around.
All right, you draw upon your divinely given cosmic sight and look around for the trappings of magic. For better or for worse, probably for better for most of you or all of you. I don't know. No magic at all. No traps. No essence. Scatterings of it. Nothing. This place is all natural. Why did he turn himself into? Genevieve shoots Bleak. Moving on. So
you see Magnus's eyes, the sort of like get a golden sheen to them for a hot second, and then he says, "It appears clean." And
okay, as I go forward, I'm going to see if I can find any heavy footprint.
Heavy footprints? Oh yeah, you can definitely see some of that strewn about.
Right.
No rolls necessary for this. You see multiple It's like you can still discern it, but you're more discerning like the top layer of it. It's like stepping over more footsteps. You're only going to see like the topmost impression as opposed to like the bottommost one. That being said, though, multiple footprints, boot prints, and a really weird, large hand print. It's missing. It's not a hand. It's missing some digits, but something similar. Not the gray render paw print you saw way before. Not that. No, this thing is a bit more humanoid looking, but also not. It's a bit more alive in terms of like. Imagine you had your hand and they made your the proportions of your hand long.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you're missing a digit, so that's not normal.
Do they look like they're going in any specific direction?
The huge one, the weird hand one, looks like it came in from northwest. I guess more west than north. Some sort of kerfuffle, scuffle, struggle happened here, and then it began walking away the same direction. Something similar to that. There is a bit of like nail shape to it, like the pointedness of a nail. And again, it only has like 3 fingers and such.
Can I look through the tents to see if there's anything that indicates?
I was just about to suggest the same.
Yeah.
Do not touch that just yet.
You have to walk around the place, so you can peer into the tents. Again, they're like ripped open and such.
Heeding Earth's warning, I'm gonna join Jace and see if we can make heads or tails of what kind of belongings these are. Are they like Is there anything that marks them provincial? Is there anything that
Sure.
says, "Oh, this is clearly Navros"?
Look at my notes. Oh, there's also around the same proportional size of like the big long handprints. There's like fist prints, like the knuckles, like an ape walking. Roll me investigations to Jace and Magnus, or one of you can roll for advantage. Either one.
While they're doing that, I look over to Dolly and I say, Dolly, what do your senses hear or smell?
Or however Ranger sense works.
You can do that.
We know what we see, but Dolly would know. Like, there's definitely got to be, if something's weird here, like if the sound is off, if the smell is off, like
like some sort of illusion, like terrain or something like that.
perhaps, yeah. Like, are the animals making noise around this place? If not, then there's a reason why. And I trust Dolly to do that. That's her jam. That's not my deal.
That's fair.
Yeah, okay. Would I do survival for that
Survival, yeah.
then? Yeah, okay.
With advantage.
Advantage. Okay.
Want to see the rolls, so maybe you guys work in conjunction with one another.
Advantage.
Yeah, you're... right.
Hey.
So let's go with that 22 investigation first. You and Magnus begin poking around the insides of the tent, not going into them, not touching it or anything, but just like, looking, like getting your face, like, at the ripped open cracks in them or tears in them and stuff like that, looking inside. Yeah, observing. Definitely Nevros. Definitely Nevros make. I want to say Nevros have shoddy craftsmanship, but they just lack the tools and technique of the provinces.
It just looks primitive.
Yeah, primitive. That's not to say it's worse. It's just they'd probably do the best they can, but they just don't have the meat.
I'd say it looks barbaric.
I mean, as a provincial myself, yes, but Genevieve aside, yeah, it's definitely of Nevros make and build. Did you see, like, I guess it's more on Magnus' speed, but it's why you have advantage and stuff like that. The gear and armaments that Nevros would normally carry. Nevros are they very often use javelins, throwing axes, and stuff like that. Stuff that you would be able to chuck while closing the distance and then engaging in a melee before having your grand onslaught of melee. That being said, you note that inside these tents, their axes and javelins remain.
Caught by surprise.
The rucksacks left outside. They would normally hold food, water, medicinal supplies if this group carried them on them or something like that, or just forage from as they went on, etc., etc. Survivalist consumables, we'll say. These bags either have been opened as wide as they could be, or have been ripped open similar as the tents, and their contents are mostly eaten in a rough, crude, barbaric manner, and it's like watching like a dog hungrily eat at a bowl of food when it's been starving. There's some bits that escape it, right? So like that, there's some bits and pieces of it that are still scattered around. Like you see, like, I don't know, like a chicken bone, rabbit's foot, something like that. Piece of kale, because no one eats that shit. Kidding. I know it's a superfood and it's good. But yeah.
Are there like trees like closer to the camp, like within a few feet of it?
No, yeah, the place itself is like it's pretty. It's tucked away in a forest.
Okay. Are there any markings on the tree to indicate like it could have been climbing and then dropped down on them, or?
You notice that there is a trail of like toppled over, like shoved aside, crackled shaft trees that lead up to this place. Like whatever came in this place, obviously it was big by the prints it left, and it left a trail in.
Gotcha.
Does can these Nevros belong to Alslet or someone other? Any sign or indication that they might belong to one or the other?
Oh, right, like potentially their symbol of their deities and such.
Are they from Alslet? This is basically what it comes down to.
Is there any
you guys
indication
yourselves
of that,
don't have much indication of what distinguishes one town from another. The only thing you really have to go on is the symbol of the pinned serpent. You don't find any such iconography amongst these.
What about the symbology of the other town? Or just like none?
No, none at all.
Okay.
Whoever this group was, they're packing light. I can say that. Like, you guys have your own rucksacks filled with days worth of rations, which again are probably like parchment paper, butcher things, or bento boxes or whatever. The sacks that they were carrying with them, they could not hold more than a day, 2 days at most of rations. So either, they were meant to be out here that long, or whatever they were doing, they were meant to forage and get their own food while out here. Which, probably is pretty common practice for Nevros, but nonetheless.
Can we
Sacks
date
laden
how
with
long?
gold and short on supplies.
Can we identify
Days.
how long this stuff has been here?
I can identify that with Dolly's roll.
Okay.
Speaking of which, Dolly, 25 in survival. Looking around the place, this place, going off that same question, has been here 2 days at most, a day and a half.
Okay.
At most. The blood stained on the ground doesn't... I don't want to say you guys are psychopath killers. Disregard the